Focus, determination, passion, stamina, and the will to win. The end result, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment, and in part by TD's Tree Service. Live Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Welcome everybody to Apex Racing TV, and welcome to the final race meeting of the season in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you in part by TD's Tree Service. We're here today at Road Atlanta, the full course, as it always is, the final race meeting of the season. 90-minute endurance race coming up. Joining me in the commentary box here, alongside me, Adam Bath, it's iRacing World Championship driver Alex Simpson and Andrew Woodhouse. Alex, quickly before we go to a track guide, final race meeting of the season, and a 90-minute endurance race for these drivers to contend with as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Race meetings always are pretty good here. Every time we've been here, it's been great. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing it. 90 minutes. Oh, I'm so tired already. I'm going to be pacing doing the commentary later, I feel.
There we go. Well, someone that's going to be pacing you through the track guide now is Kevin Ford, I believe. So let's take a look at that.
Welcome everyone to Road Atlanta. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide in the Ford Mustang. And today we come to you from Braselton, Georgia, located just northeast of downtown Atlanta. This track was constructed in 1969 on 750 acres of farmland and quickly became a mecca for road racing, featuring legends like Peter Gregg in his 1976 BMW and the great Paul Newman. The first winner at Road Atlanta was Vic Elford in his Chaparral 2J in 1970. Road Atlanta lives on today, hosting major road racing events, including the Petit Le Mans race held here each year. This track is full of elevation changes, as you will see on our track guide around this 3.5-mile road course through the red clay hills of Georgia. We start our track guide coming down out of turn 11 into the final corner here. The starts of races across this start-finish line are very exciting, as you'll see coming into turn 1. Drivers will sometimes go 2-3 wide into this corner, trying to get that edge to come up this hill to one of the blindest corners on the track. Turn 2. Still looking, there it is. Now into turn 3 to the right. Drivers will get a good quick run through here to head towards one of the most famous areas on the track, the S's. Down through this hill, back to the left, back to the right, hard on the brakes for this next uphill blind corner. Coming up out of 5 and down the straightaway. Short little straight, heading towards 6 and 7. Two very important turns on the course. Want to get a good run through 6, get a nice wide entry to set up for 7. You want to get a good rotation here, get that good launch off this corner, as this takes you down the longest straightaway on the track and the highest speed section of the track. Drivers in the Mustang will probably reach speeds of 130, 135 mile an hour on this straightaway, but coming down into the next section is so critical. Great overtaking opportunities here, as you do have slipstream on this straightaway. But 10A and B here are very tight. It's a real tight chicane. Got to get that nose to set at the bottom of the apex. Come back up out of the apex, up to turn 11, under the bridge here. Blind entry, down the hill to turn 12, the final corner on the track, and back to the start-finish line. Very fast 3.5-mile course as we come down into turn 1 once again. That is your track guide for Road Atlanta. Thank you so much for being with us.
Handy guide there of the Road Atlanta circuit, 4.09 kilometers, 12 corners, and a 90-minute endurance race ahead of us to decide the title. Unfortunately, no Mike Dam here today, so the Mustang title fight, even though it was probably over anyway, is definitely over. Aeronom is going into this one then as the champion, and then Stephen Thomas in third, Clint Vigus fourth. That is going to be an honour that's up for grabs. Who's going to be third in the title in the Mustangs? Only 3 points between them going into this one. Pasquale Iannucci in fifth, sixth for Kevin Ford, seventh for Russell Ruddock, eighth Matthew Taylor, ninth Leon Wright, 10th Brandon Whitworth. Some close points gaps between those drivers as well. In the open category, it's Mike Monaghan that's quite clearly going to win that title. Scott Brooks in second has a 6-point lead over Jennifer McDonald, Corey Wharton in fourth, and fifth Raymond Bader Jr. And then in the Mazdas, it's Rob Hartley who has a 36-point lead over Travis Schwenke. Then it's a 22-point advantage to Brian Holmes in third. 3 points between Brian Holmes and John Allen. So that is another fight that's grabs. And then Jim List fourth, Jeff Jacobs fifth. Joe Boyd is leading the way in the open category. Second, Zachary Rubin. Third, Chris Torman. Fourth, Edgar Santinelli. And fifth, Mike Key. As I said earlier, joining me in the commentary box tonight is BSRTC race winner and Kia former Club Series driver Andrew Woodhouse and a former Phones for You employee in Alex Simpson. And sure, I'll go to you first. Road Atlanta, we heard in the track guide, and
that's the best intro I've ever got. I don't know about you, Alex.
Yep. Yeah, totally.
I don't know where to go with that now.
But final race meeting. It's a shame that Mike Dam's not here. But yeah, your thoughts going into this one?
I was just going to say, does Nom have to finish the race because he's only
24 ahead.
24 ahead of Dan, but it's 86 ahead of Thomas, isn't it? So, and 89 ahead of Vigus. So I would assume, Alex, I don't know if you know better than me. I don't know if he does have to actually complete the race. I imagine.
I think that's probably all he needs to do, to be fair. Look, the points...
I think it's virtually the fact that he has nailed it, isn't it? Because
so how many points was he in front?
In front of Dan, he's 24 ahead. Yeah.
There's only 35 points up for grabs, so yeah.
Oh, well, there we go. That's my fault then, isn't it?
Well, we'll try to build it up, but it looks like, it's going to be the fight for the bronze medal positions. I think that we'll be keeping an eye on. Just because there's 3 points between Thomas and Vigus. Vigus has been on a great run of form recently, and meanwhile in the Mazdas, Holmes and Allen are so closely matched. So, we'll be watching them keenly, and also, of course, because it's a 90-minute race, the strategy as well.
Yeah, it's 40 points, I believe, is what you can earn with the bonuses available.
Yeah.
Nom hasn't scored less than 33. Sorry, he had a dropped round that had 32 points, but his lowest was at Laguna Seca and Cota, where he's had 33 points. So that tells you anyway that it would have been very difficult for Dam, even if he was here, because of the consistency of Nom. He's done very well all season. He's been getting the bonuses for the clean race and things as well. So, yeah, it would have been tricky. The ST class is really where we need to sort of focus the attention, though. It's virtually there, isn't it, for it's virtually there for Rob Hartley, isn't it, Adam? But
Yeah.
He unless there's an absolute disaster, I think.
Yeah, he said 40 points on offer, and the gap between Hartley and Schwenke's 36 points going into this one. So
Even if he doesn't, I think he has to retire from the race, basically, Hartley, doesn't he?
But it's open for the Open. The Open category, there's 6 points between Joe Boyd and Zachary Rubin. It's where we could focus some of our attention today. They're on the parade lap now, so I'll run you through the starting grid for this final race of the season. It's Aeronom on the pole. Kevin Ford, not the best season he's had compared to most recent season. Sixth in the championship in this one, but he's starting second today. Stephen Thomas third, doing everything he can to make sure that he gets that third place in the championship, and he looks like he will probably do so because there is no Clint Vigus today either. Leon Rice in fourth, fifth Russell Ruddock, sixth Travis Davis, Matt Katila seventh, eighth Michael Ruddock, then Brandon Whitworth, Mike Monaghan, Scott Brooks. Then in the Mazdas, and there's quite a few of them today, it's Brian Holmes starting on the pole, doing everything he can to make sure that he pips John Allen to third in the championship. And it's Hartley, Schwenke, List, Payton, Boyd, crucially ahead of Zachary Rubin, who's 2 positions behind him, and Geordie Fike, Chris Torman, Mike Key, Edgar Sancinelli, Patrick Provenus, and then the cars that didn't set times, just the one, Pasquale Iannucci. He hasn't taken to the grid either, so he may not even be racing tonight as the field goes into the chicane before we get to the grid.
It's like a mass exodus, isn't it? Well, I think we could have got that out there, Alex, and scored some points in the Mustang tonight.
Yeah, I think we probably could have done.
Half of them have gone, have disappeared. But I'm sure we'll get a good race anyway. But we're going to be looking mostly at the battle in the MX-5s. But I think it's just going to be a good race to enjoy the spectacle of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series tonight as it concludes yet another season, which has been a fantastic one to be covering here on Apex Racing TV. It does make the starts, the late/early starts worthwhile. Right then, Adam, the pace car is in.
You ready to go then? Green flag in the air, and we're underway for the final race of the season in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Here come the Mustangs then. First corner coming up straight away. We've seen on the track guide how quick it is, and even in these racing conditions at the beginning of the race it is, and Kevin Ford already under pressure from Stephen Thomas, who looks like he's going to try and get second place here as we go over the top of the hill and into turn 2. Ford fighting back, but it's going to be Stephen Thomas that does not get second place because Kevin Ford's able to hold on.
Yeah, it's an important race for Kevin Ford. He has to show, I think, that next season he's going to be a real challenger. Last season he was. This season he isn't, and he's nearly crashing as he's almost out of control coming over the crest. MX-5's into turn 1, Alex, and it's Road Atlanta. It's going to be fun for them with this big long straight, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Someone running a little wide. I think that might have been Payton, was it, in the background? So
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, issues for him, and lost a couple of places there. So not the start he would have wanted, that's for sure.
Good start.
But yeah, everyone through safe though, to be fair. So we didn't. There was no Patty Nucci, Robert Brist either.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason they didn't start.
So yeah, we've only got 11 Mustangs in this one today. We've got 13 Mazdas. So a few more keep an eye on, and I think this is a track that's really going to suit the Mazda in terms of the slipstream anyway, because as they come onto this back straight now, they've got quite a long way to get some slipstreaming done, and straight away Rob Hartley is getting on the back of Brian Holmes here as they go towards the chicane for the first time.
Yeah, I reckon this would be fun in the MX-5. I think it'd be decent in the Mustang. But yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun in the Mazda as Aeronom continues on his merry way. He's already 1.3 seconds clear. After just one lap of racing, he flies over the curves in the Team Bushwick Racing car, and the Estonian, well, he's on his way towards the title. He's taking the title, let's face it, but he just needs to officially claim it by finishing this race today. Doesn't even have to finish the race, but it'd be nice if he finishes the season with a good result. And it's been interesting, Adam, hasn't it, considering he switched over from the he was in the MX-5 in other series as well. And he's gone to the Ford Mustang and he looks so strong.
He's already looking so strong already, isn't he? 1.6 second advantage. Apart from Mike Dam, no one really has been able to hold a candle to him all season. I think Clint Vigus is the only other driver apart from those two to get a victory, and that was after a disaster for...
To be honest,
Dam.
he only...
Yeah.
With all due respect to Clint, he only got it because Norm and Dam crashed into each other.
Like at Virginia, wasn't it?
Yep.
Crazy race that was. I had to stream it as well. That was yeah. That was a bit of an anomaly of a race meeting, wasn't it? Over the line then, second lap in the books, 31.7 already for Norm.
Hey, you did a good job. Nothing set on fire. It was all fine.
Yeah.
It's,
got a feel for our colleague Alex Simpson today, by the way. New overlay, I think for the first or second time in this series today, and obviously ironing out all the teething troubles. So.
And we're not quite there. We couldn't bring up the championship standing, so apologies for that. But we'll try and get that cracked for next season.
We will get there.
We've got to iron all the bugs out, so we'll get.
We are hoping to bring you the live qualifying next season as well. So we're trying to get that sorted out. And that'll be fantastic when it comes. So we'll be able to run through the qualifying session exactly how you can, how the professionals do it. So. That'd be great. It's not that we're not professional, Alex, but you know.
Well, yeah, this is true.
Semi-professional and semi-awake at this time of night as well.
Yeah, I think that's quite appropriate.
Oh, the car's absolutely fly. Oh dear, who's that? Jim List. List nearly lost 4th place. It's that surface change, Alex. Do you remember me watching Martin Van Loozenau doing a race round there, and he bit the dust there, and it happens to so many people.
Yeah, Patrick, he's out as well. A few people.
Oh man, he's got no front. He had no front at all on that MX-5. What happened to him?
Yeah, not quite sure what happened there.
Sancinelli is in the pits as well. I wonder if they crashed with each other. Oh no, he stacked it at the final corner, I think, as Sancinelli. And Prevenas did the same thing. That is the weirdest accident you've ever seen. Lost it on the way into the final corner. Absolutely mashes the inside wall. Wow. Seen some strange accidents this week. There's quite a few strange ones in the BSR IMSA yesterday, but yeah, those two, very, very weird as well. They're both out, and that's their season over in very quick and spectacular fashion. Don't know if you got the replay of any of those accidents, Alex, but they have been they were quite big.
Let me see if I can bring them up. Sorry, I'm just tweaking. There's a couple of driver names not wrong, so they weren't shown in the right class standing. So just corrected spellings and things like that on the data that we have. And yeah, so let's see if I can find this. Here we go. So this could be Patrick's one.
At least he said tweaking and not twerking, anyway.
Right, look at that. Yeah, 2 cars out of the race. Patrick and Edgar Sancinelli, 2 Mazdas, already biting the dust in this.
He just caught the grass, didn't he, on the outside? Big hit.
Oh, is that what he... Yeah.
Yeah. And who was the other, sorry? Edgar
Sancinelli, yeah. That was one on the other side of the circuit, on the same corner, on the same lap.
Here we go then. Here's this one. Looks like some issue for Ruben as well. He might be having some thing. There's been a change for the lead as well. It's Hartley and gone past Holmes, so we'll try and bring that. Yeah, look at that, exactly the same spot. So 2 hard hits.
Just on the other side.
Yeah. let's get the replay. While we're doing the replays, let's get this replay for the lead as well, and then we'll get back to the live action.
Yeah, Hartley getting the move done round the outside of Brian Holmes, going into the chicane. And that is the man from Carolina hitting the front after 4 laps have been completed here. From memory,
Good bit of work though by Hartley to do that. That's not easy.
Yeah, from memory, last time we were here in the MX-5s, a lot of cars crashed out in that left-hander just because they took too much of that outside curb.
Oh yeah, I've seen, like I was saying, so many drivers just come to grief there every single time that we compete here. And yeah, it's a tricky circuit, Road Atlanta. It's one of those that looks reasonably simple, but it really isn't. It kind of reminds me of more of a British circuit almost because of the way it's laid out. It's like a cross almost between, I don't know if this makes any sense, Adam, too, but a bit of a cross between somewhere like Brands Hatch and somewhere like Virginia.
Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe even a Donington about it. The way it goes down, like the Craner curves there. Yeah, there are a few corners that are like Hawthorne. Yeah, I do see that. Back section of the circuit's almost like a Hawthorne and Westfields in a way. But yeah, over line we go to complete lap 6. Formula Renault's is here as well. That was really thing back in the day. We're past a year since that series started up.
I know. We had some really good races here in that.
Having a good race here right now as well with Hartley and Holmes. Saw Marc Genet set a Ferrari V10 around this circuit a few weeks ago.
F1 car, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Wow. I bet he got that to 200 miles an hour. Alex is always on about the back straight here, like a Shelby Mustang or whatever. But I bet Genet managed to get 200 miles an hour down there.
Pretty sizable straight. Should be able.
It's the short layout that you always talk about, isn't it?
Yeah, that was it. It was the short layout that they did it in that film. Yeah, totally.
half the length of straight or whatever, and 200 miles an hour. Yeah,
that was nonsense.
Speaking of nonsense, we might be about to get some in the MX-5s. Hartley and Holmes are going to go side by side again here. Or they're not, because Holmes is going to save fuel. Come on, guys, none of this matters. Race each other.
Full on assault. Come on, every lap, every corner.
Every lap, every corner. Although, I suppose the other positions are available in the championship.
Talking of other positions, David Payton side by side with Zachary Rubin just moves himself up.
There's all sorts of people missing, isn't there? John Allen's missing because he's still recovering from injury. Payton he's through, but Boyd hasn't given up. He's late on the brakes. Is Payton flies into the middle sector and he's gonna. I think he might have just got away without a slowdown there.
Got an off track.
You guys hear like a drumming noise?
Yeah, I've heard.
Bashing noise. Like it's one of the crash cars, is it?
Yeah. Just as well, just for those that haven't seen the new overlay before, so we did give it a run out once before, but you've seen a couple of times David Payton's flashed up red, and what that indicates is that he has just sort of left the confines of the circuit, and technically has picked up a 1X, or may well have picked up a 1X, put it that way, so it's our own software that detects it.
Well, when we go to COTA, you'll be seeing that left, right and centre. Well, if we were using it when we went to COTA a few weeks ago. Battle for the lead and the Mazda's back at it. Brian Holmes bump drafting Hartley down the back straight here, and he's got Travis Fenke and Jim List company. Hopefully Jim can stay with them. He's shown promise this season, but just hasn't got the end product yet, but I'm sure that will come with time.
Well, if you look at the championship standings, he's currently 5th in this category. Jim List with 258 points. Best haul of points came at the Auto Club Speedway in California. That was 33-point day for Jim List.
Battle for second place in the Mustangs. Looks like it could be one to watch for the duration here. We've got Kevin Ford, Stephen Thomas, Leon Wright, Travis Davis, all involved.
Again, it's amazing, isn't it? Russell Ruddock and Michael Ruddock just half a second apart again. It's amazing how close they are together.
I've had to put the short names on the stand-in screen as well, so that we can tell which one is which, because obviously they're right next to each other and it's just Ruddock.
I was going to ask you actually, does it differentiate different surnames?
Yeah, I can put like a short name
initial.
instead of just a surname. So yeah, I mean while we're at it, so we can obviously do the whole full name. Just for those watching, we obviously the short name, which is what we started with there, just the surname, and then you've got the team names, which the admins need to fill in for next time because they're not down there yet. So, and then we have initials, and then the sort of like the Formula One style three letters. So
It's like MSC for Michael Schumacher and RSC for Ralph. We now need a MRU for Michael Ruddock. RU.
And then none, which I saw come up briefly as well.
yeah, that was the teams. So the teams. Kevin,
2-letter initials. We've got all sorts of options here.
Kevin, to be fair, he did fill those in, but actually forgot to select them on the actual drivers page, who belongs to what team. So I've got a list of all the teams, but I don't know who drives for who.
Well, we'll get that sorted out as well for next season.
All to come next. Oh, this looks good. In the Mustangs.
Oh my word!
Oh, TD.
Nearly 3 wide going into the first corner, and that's Thomas ahead of Wright, and Davis Wright trying to go around the outside of. Well, that's TD attacking Leon Wright, really. Managing to stay ahead is Wright. Well, these 4 drivers, these will be close together.
Now we're comfortably into the race. I'll read you some of the notes that we were given for this one.
Oh, it's still the wheel to wheel. I'm sorry, Wright and Davis are wheel to wheel. Davis is trying everything he knows to try and get through.
Drifting it on the end to there.
He's got a good run as Travis Davis. He should get through here, Adam.
Up the hill we go. Bit of damage, front right damage to the Mustang there of Leon Wright. Doesn't seem to be holding him back at all. Kevin Ford's used this opportunity to escape up the road. He's got a bit of an advantage over Thomas, but here comes Travis Davis, who's now ahead of Leon Wright. But Wright's going to try and get the position back going into the final chicane here. The Extreme Motorsports car holding on though, and that is close.
Both of them losing traction as they leave the final chicane.
He's on the grass.
Oh, he's going to lose some more traction now, Leon Wright. Oh man, Travis Davis making the move well, getting it done, and then capitalising on the error to scamper away a little bit.
Into the pit stop
there. That's Chris Tolman having a. He's not really had a great season, Tolman, compared to ones he's had previously.
Into the pits already. Jeff Jacobs switched over to the Mazda class this season after driving in the Mustangs and did some alright performances the last few seasons we've been covering it. He gets away now. First car in the pits for what looks like a scheduled stop.
Holmes and Hartley side by side for the lead again. Schwenke's interested in it. In fact, Schwenke's going to get past Holmes as well. In fact, has Holmes got to slow down because he's dropped right to the back of these 4 cars.
Yeah, that was interesting. A very weird place to get a slowdown though, because there isn't much track to cut.
Well, Brian
maybe
Holmes,
it's like tandem cycling. He just wants to get to the back of this before now. He's had enough of pulling them around for the last few laps.
Maybe so. Alex is a teammate of yours, isn't he, on the BSRTC?
Indeed, he is.
Holmes, has he been giving you any tips with the Kia at all? Or?
Well, you know, I'm the top Apex driver, so.
That is not necessary.
Exactly. But yeah, clearly the slowest one on the team, but apparently finishing all 6 races counts. So I'm going to DNF all 3 next this Thursday. You wait and see.
Probably.
But actually,
I might just join the race just to make sure that happens.
Oh, thanks. But yeah, no, Brian, and everyone giving me a little bit of tips here and there as well, because obviously I'm an absolute noob when it comes to that car. So It's
you are,
it's
you
quite
are.
good.
But it's I mean, you did one race meeting last year,
Of which I
but
finished one of those.
You're already getting. You did finish 5th though, I remember. So
You only won. You've got one more race experience technically than Isaac Price, then, who's been racing the last 2 weeks.
It's true.
This is it.
He looked like he was getting bashed around a little bit. Those grids are huge, though. I watched the start of the stream, and of course, the stream couldn't even cope with 62 cars on it because there were so many of them, and the server couldn't cope. Nothing coped really. And then, it got turned down a little bit for the start, and then suddenly it was okay. But yeah, fantastic spectacle of all those cars just flying around the circuit. 62 Kia Optimas. There was one of
the overlay doesn't work well when you turn them down. That's the only trouble. So yeah, you have to keep them pumped up.
Oh really? Because you know what's there and what isn't there.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's quite an issue. So that S bar has been a pain, isn't it, for the last sort of few weeks.
With any luck, though, there's going to be a slight reduction in the. I know it sounds bad to say hope for less cars, but I'm sure the numbers will go down at some point. Into the 40s probably again, I would imagine.
They will do, but not to talk about another league too much while this one's going on.
Jim List. Oh, he survives.
But they've made all 5 cars score points this season in the teams championship, rather than the 3 that it was last season. So it's quite critical that the teams filled a full lineup every week, So I think if people are going to miss it, you're going to see reserves coming in and things like that, which will
probably a problem.
I think that will keep the numbers up. So we've got a couple of guys waiting in the wings, basically. So Stillian, Chabalowski, and Jamie Fluke are our reserve drivers.
Yeah, not too shabby at all, I might add.
So, of course, Stilly,
drivers.
He's focusing on the Dirt World Championship, so all the best for him. But and then Jamie on the actual iRacing and Blancpain World Championships as well. So
he'll do well, Cheppy, in that. He's very good.
Definitely.
Very good at that indeed. I'm going to try and make a couple of meetings at BSRTC as well at some point. Obviously not in an official team capacity, as Wright and Davies are going side by side again. And Wright, to his credit, has really regrouped well after being overtaken by Davies and making a mistake. He's got right up to the back of him again and is putting the pressure on massively.
Yeah, this battle's going to be tested a little bit in a moment because they are coming up to quite a bit of Mazda MX-5 traffic here. We're not too far away from potentially seeing the first round of pit stops for the Mustangs, and it may be worth Davis and Wright coming in a little bit earlier just so they don't have to deal with the brunt of this Mazda traffic. I don't know if I'll be welcome back to
John Allen.
Yeah. I'll do the John Allen trick. I don't know, but we had John Allen in the comms box last week. It was good to hear from him and give him to shed some insight on what was going on in these races. As
there's a move
Mazda's
going on
pretty
there.
Close together.
That is Peyton having a go on Zachary Rubin, who goes wide. Peyton's having a look into the tight right-hander. And he's going to get it done, but I think Joe Boyd's going to get them both here and 3-wide action for the first time tonight. And it could be 4. Davis has to try and get through somehow because Leon Wright's there. This isn't going to end. This is not going to go well, mate.
Where are they going? Somehow they've managed to open a space for the 2 Mustangs to get through. That was pretty good there by the Mazda drivers.
Just about more luck than judgment, I reckon. I think it was fine. Here comes Zachary Rubin again. He's going to get them both again. What a good move that was. He set that up, Alex, in the chicane. He realised that those 2 were going pretty deep, fighting each other, and just set it up and just took 2 places back. Thank you very much.
Yeah, nice.
Up the inside, and he's off. Rubin's off. He's well off.
Manages to miss the wall. May have been a bit of contact involved between the 2 of them.
It was marginal, wasn't it? Let's have a little tiny look.
It has just occurred to me, guys, as well, that we actually are
there was.
We're in Discord and not the Extreme Motorsports TeamSpeak tonight by mistake. So We will, but we will jump over to there for the interviews at the end of the race. So we just
we were already here, weren't we?
That was it. Yeah, exactly. And we just got going. So yeah,
that was the problem.
Our bad on that. Don't worry, guys. We will be over there for interviews, and apologies for that. So.
Indeed, we will. Me and Adam, we were playing Formula 1 after the previous broadcast that we had, so we just decided to stay in the channel. We do have to point out as well, the final point about the touring cars I will make is we will inflict the unsafest driver in the BSRTC on the field at some point as well. That being Mr. Adam Barr.
What an award. Dave Payton, the Joe Boyd.
It's like the Alan Pardew Award for the best manager of the...
I don't think I wrecked any taxis.
Oh, here on Nom! Whoa!
With the leaders.
That was good from Nom to keep that on the tight on the inside there. Because he could have... We've all been in that situation, Alex, where we're lapping a car and we've understeered into it.
Oh yeah,
pretty much everyone's done it. And Nom, he did really well to just control the speed, control the line, realise that he doesn't have to rush it, and yeah, he gets through, and now he's fully clear. And it was important for him to do that before the main straight, because now he can stretch the legs of the Mustang and really power off into the distance. His competition, well, Kevin Ford is in the same group of traffic as Aeronom is. So, and you know what? They've managed to stem the gap ever since about lap 4, lap 5, something like that. Adam, the gap hasn't really grown at the front.
Yeah, it was 2.9 at the end of the last lap. It's down to 2.3 here, obviously with Nom having to negotiate the traffic, which Kevin Ford looks like he's going to be able to negotiate
all in one straight. Yeah,
more ease. Yeah, he's got past all of them, in fact. So that is a bit of a helpful lap there by Kevin Ford. He's got the gap down by just over half a second, but still got a lot of work to do now to get back to Nom. But I think second place here shows that he's been practicing once again, Kevin Ford, and yeah, doing pretty well here as he does a 32.9. Should say this. For my exploits last season in the BSRTC, I don't think many people got Dave Baker's feathers ruffled, and I think I was able to do that. It's similar.
I think hit you up the arse at one point. I was going to say.
I don't know many people mention that.
Well, I feel like it was a bit unfair. It was a small sample size of what, 1 meeting or 2 meetings that you did, was it? And so it was a little bit harsh. Was that? I didn't fare that much better. I only finished like 1 race or something last season.
People should watch my rallycross race at Laguna Seca, because I did better in that.
No, that's it. Overtook 3 people in 1 corner. I think we should use this opportunity to go for a quick break, Alex. What do you reckon?
Let's do it.
We'll go and see. We'll have a message from our friends at Ricmotech, and you'll be able to see what kind of products they have to offer if you head over to their website. It's on ricmotech.com. So we'll be back in 2.
there you go, the people at Ricmotech. A few decent products there, and a decent battle as well for the lead in the Mazdas. Welcome back, everybody. You may have noticed that Travis Schwenke is now heading this group of Mazdas, and now they're getting TD and Leon Wright for company as well as they get a lap going into the chicane. And two great battles, two great commentators in the car. I can say that's bad. Andrew,
yeah, it's all right. We're allowed to say that. It's fine. Get away with it.
Unjustifiable risk warning for car 4. That is Joe Boyd for the light contact. Looks like he's just got away.
I don't really agree with that, to be fair. I normally do agree with the race stewards. I think it was just a bit of exuberance, and it wasn't. It was the tiniest contact ever. And I know it's a shame for Zachary Rubin, who ended up getting, shoveled off the circuit. But I think it was just a couple of inches another way, and he wouldn't have hit him at all. So I think it was tough. It was a little, thing. But again, the stewards, it's a warning, isn't it? It's not a penalty, but yeah.
Awaiting the majority of cars to come in for their pit stop. I'll quickly just have a little look at the notes that were sent over by Kevin Ford prior to us getting underway. Mustang drivers will be taking more than likely 4 tyres on their stop. You can get 2 tyres done on a 5.2 gallon pit stop. Second stop, they may not take tyres to make up track time because they should only need 5.2 gallons of fuel to complete the race. Okay. Taking 2 tyres can just take over the time of a 5.2 gallon pit stop. And for the Mazdas, Mazda drivers will be more than likely to take 2 left side tyres on their stop and may not take tyres on the second stop. They're only needing a splash of fuel to finish, which will make for an interesting strategy for the Mazda class. So that is.
I always think the Mazda's intriguing though, because no matter what happens, it always seems to just come together at the end of the race. And I think at a track like this with such long straights and the slipstream being in place so much, I think it's completely unavoidable that we're going to have that kind of finish again. It's going to be really exciting, a really fantastic way to end the season, I think.
Oh yeah, judging from that, it means that the Mazdas are going to be pitting pretty late on for their first stop and then a flash of fuel to get to the end, and that could open up all sorts of things. Maybe a short second stint, or maybe even a longer second stint, just to get fuel with a few minutes to go to get to the end.
Yeah, we've by the way, we've got a full slate of action coming up here on Apex Racing TV this week. Well, tonight, Tuesday night, 8 p.m, BSR MX5 Cup. That series rolls on. And Thursday is the 3rd meeting of the season in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Friday sees the return of Apex Online Racing, Formula Renault 2.0. And then Saturday, Euro V8s at Bathurst. And then on Sunday, the BSR Grand Tour. So
don't forget the TSR
and the TSR
thing,
yeah,
as well. That's starting up as well. First
all
round
sorts,
of that.
mate. Tons.
So, everything going on right now.
Tons. Wednesday's the only day that that we've got off this week.
Indeed it is.
And I'm at work anyway. Oh well, never mind. Thank goodness for bank holidays, or not.
So 4-day weekend. It's going to be back to earth with a bump tomorrow, I think.
Few
the
people
plant called and they said if you don't come in tomorrow, don't bother coming in Monday.
Woohoo! A 4-day weekend.
Few people in the pits. We've got Leon Wright, Brandon Whitworth, and Stephen Thomas all into the box.
Oh yeah, into the pits.
Oh, nice early stop.
Stephen Thomas.
Good stop by Thomas. It looked like.
Yeah, 23.7 second stop. Was it just 2 tyres, or was it? Was that fuel as well?
Didn't see.
4 tyres. I'll have a look for you.
Reasonable length as far as the time goes, 50 odd seconds. So that's everything, isn't it? And when they're at about 50 seconds, it's the whole lot.
The whole shebang.
Well, that might be tyres to the end of the race, and fuel just for the short stint, maybe.
Looks like 2 tyres. Looks like 2 tyres for Stephen.
I mean, actually, you might be able to get away with 2 tyres around here. There's a lot of There's a lot of right-handers, isn't there, Alex? But would you say that would be sufficient round here with just 2?
Might be
Possibly.
actually. Yeah, might be. It is. It'll probably take maybe 4 on the next stint or something like that.
Have you driven here much before?
A few times, leaders in as well. Ford stayed out. IndyCar, Williams, FW31. The Rough.
They do a World Championship race here, did they?
They didn't do a World Championship race. Well, not when I was in it, but they did do one here.
They do a Grand Prix series race here.
But they did qualifiers for the pros here, I think. So, yeah.
It's 4 tyres for Nom. He's away.
23.5 seconds, so definitely all 4.
Yeah, and we'll also have to figure out, guys, some way of fitting the Bahrain Grand Prix into our Sunday as well.
Yeah. I'm going to be at work when it's on, but thankfully...
It's one of my favourite races of the season, that.
Thankfully, the licence payer has provided me with a TV, which I should be able to watch in the office on a Sunday.
Commonwealth Games is on this week as well. I know it's not going to mean much to our American friends, but Commonwealth Games is on nevertheless. That starts on... That's from Australia. I think it starts Wednesday. Yeah, that's right.
Hartley v Schwenke, Kevin Ford in as well, but Hartley and those two X5s going at it again.
Sadly, the Commonwealth Games won't be available on Apex Racing TV. All the other things will, apart from the Grand Prix.
We can't get sent out there for that, unfortunately.
I know. I'd have, a trip to the Gold Coast would have gone down nicely at this point. That would have been great. That would. What do you reckon, Alex? I reckon that's something for the future. We'll have to lobby for things like that.
I was about to say, yes, please.
Beautiful place. It used to be a Champ Car World Series race there, didn't they?
Yeah, Nigel Mansell made his debut at that circuit. Yeah.
Did he really? Right.
In 1993.
You see, that was. So I know Alex is a big fan of those of the IndyCar of around that time. Do you reckon do you think the best era for IndyCar and like kart racing in America? Do you think?
I mean, it was probably at its heyday. I mean, I really enjoyed it, but I think really
did a lot of people watch it here then at the time?
Well, I think a lot of people got interested into it mainly because of Mansell, because obviously he just won the F1 championship and then went to IndyCar, so there was obviously a bit of following from him there, and that was really where we watched it, and I enjoyed it. I think that's what IndyCar's missing for me, is that somebody to have that vested interest in, I think.
Yeah, like I picked it back up again when Barrichello went there again.
I can see that.
And Sato, and when Montoya was there and things like that. So I picked it back up. So I was a bit gutted actually that Barrichello only did 1 season as Schwenke pits from 2nd place.
Did he get Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, he got Rookie of the Year. He did a really good, solid first season, and then he didn't go back, which I wasn't sure. But I think that was about the time that there was the rumour of him going to Sauber or Toro Rosso or whoever it was, and it all got a bit sort of mixed up. But yeah, if you get someone to latch onto, like if a really, really good, I mean, there are loads of really good British drivers that have gone over there, but unfortunately for people like Dario Franchitti and Dan Weldon and even Justin Wilson, people like that, they weren't massive names in the UK, were they, Alex? Before they went over, they were known names, but they weren't going to like move the TV ratings like say someone like Fernando Alonso going over.
Exactly, yeah.
And maybe if someone like JB went over there or to do it, or if
I'd definitely watch
Lewis
it.
Decided to do it, I think it'd be interesting.
I'd definitely watch it if Jensen did it. Yeah, that would really get me.
Of course, he's going to be competing in Super GT this year. That's another great series that isn't shown at all in Britain, and that's one that I think I'd quite like to see. Those cars are fantastic. Holmes is still really close to Hartley. It's this old waiting game again that you get sometimes with this. I'm quite amazed, Adam, that Schwenke's in for new tyres, and Holmes and Hartley are still looking like they're cruising along doing the old fuel saving business. I'd be hammering it round trying to get the advantage in the pit stop, surely. I mean, they obviously know what they're doing better than I do. I don't know, but
I don't know. I'd be amazed to see where us lot would finish if we went hell for leather. Probably get laughed out of town. I don't know, but
okay, but I don't think I'd be up there at the very front.
Those three stay outs again, don't they? Yeah, they're just coming through the S's after turn 3. Hartley followed by Holmes and List. Peyton, Boyd, and Fike have all come into the pits at the end of the last lap. So
when we did the Club 73 with the Mustang, I was about, I'd say, 1 second off the really fast guys. So that would have put me around 4th, something like that. I would imagine would be where I'd be potentially. Some really fast guys in that series as well.
Mustangs have now completed their pit stops, so sit rep there. Aeronom leads Kevin Ford by 6 seconds, so the gap's gone on up a bit, and very good lap by Nom on that last lap. Stephen Thomas in 3rd, Leon Wright 4th. He's now ahead of Travis Davis. Then it's Russell Ruddock, Mike Ruddock, Matt Katila, Brandon Whitworth, Scott Brooks, and Mike Monaghan. So that's how things line up in that class after they completed their opening round of stops. And into the pits come the 3 Mazdas that are yet to pit. It's Hartley, Holmes, and List.
Coming in at the same time, 1 lap less fuel to put in, you would imagine. It's going that little bit longer. Kevin Ford is now 6 seconds behind Aeronom. It hasn't worked out that well for Kevin in the pit stops. Right, so they're all in the boxes at the same time. Hartley, Holmes, and List. Hartley and Holmes just jacked up slightly first.
You see Travis on the mini map as well, just coming through the chicane now.
It's going to be a slightly better stop, I think, for Holmes, Alex, than Hartley. I think Holmes is going to be away first.
It's all about the fuel now, isn't it? Here comes Travis. So Travis is miles through.
Has he done what he did in the previous
possibly, yeah,
race though, and just take 2 tyres instead of the 4? They took 4.
Yeah, 7-second difference in pit stop times between Schwenke and Holmes.
Because it was at where was it that the most noticeable one that he took 2 at? It wasn't last week. Was it the week before? Was it Snetterton that he took 2 tyres and managed to stay at the front? Stay in second place, 2 tyres. Feel like it was. And yeah, it's a bold strategy. What can you say? I mean, John Allen's not here. Somebody's got to go for it in the pits.
Yeah, well, that's it.
And to be honest, it's usually Travis, Alex, isn't it? It's usually Travis that's the other one that really goes for it on the strategy. So see how we get on there. It's good that we've got the colours working on the overlay as well, which has looked pretty good for those who haven't really noticed. You've got car colours on there to help you out.
Yeah, I mean, just for the drivers, actually, from the point of view. So what we've got, obviously, we've got the class colours, which again, I'll have to speak to Kev about, because he gave me some sort of weird hex code that I didn't recognise, so I've had to just sort of make them up on the fly. Which is what you've got, your green and your blue for your ST and your GS classes, but then there's a slash next to every driver's name. Now what that does, by default, the overlay looks at the colour that the car is painted in iRacing, so the iRacing paint sort of system, you know, not trading paint, you know, where you can paint your own cars. Head there, paint your car a colour, and that's what your little slash will appear.
In the car, the paint showroom in iRacing.
Exactly that.
On the website.
And it's the same with the numbers as well. You'll see some drivers have slightly different numbers. As you see, Hartley, he's got a black number 3. and that's because that's how he's painted his number with a different font and things like that. So it picks that up and pulls that up as well. And yeah, like I say, we will get your teams added in there as well for next season. But those are a couple of things that you can change on the fly yourself. So if you're all working together as a team, and you think, well, we all want the same color slash to represent your team, then you can.
Yeah, it's a good idea, and yeah, I'm sure that's something we'll continue to work on as time goes by. So what exactly? I can't see the gaps. I'm afraid, boys. What exactly is the gap between Schwenke and Holmes then? It looks like it's about 5 seconds. Would that be about fair?
Get you that now, up on the screen. 6.2 seconds right now.
Okay, so now this is going to be the interesting thing. Are these two going to stay behind each other and kind of just do the same thing again, or are they going to really go after Travis Schwenke? In theory, they should be able to, Adam, because they've got the tyre advantage. They've got superior rubber underneath them, but theory and reality, as we often see, two different things.
Safety numbers, I reckon, as well. Bring that one out there. Holmes and Hartley together now, trying to get to Schwenke as Hartley.
Holmes looks like he's suddenly going for it. It's funny how I mentioned that, and now you look at the body. I don't know if you can tell, Alex, as well, but the body language of Holmes' car looks like it's just changed completely. It's the point where he's just absolutely wringing the neck of it.
All of a sudden using absolutely all of the track, isn't he? You know, every last piece of the curb. So
is it making a difference? Is he closing?
Yeah. I mean, we can see the live gaps on screen. It's down to 5.5 seconds. So has caught up a lot, and that might well be the difference in the tyre. You know,
he's really going for it. He's using all the benefit of that new tyre and seeing what happens there. What do you find it easy, Alex, or hard to get the best out of a new set of tyres? I mean, I tend to struggle to get the absolute maximum out of it.
I think maybe the first lap is perhaps a little tricky, but after that, no, not so much.
First lap out of the pits, basically.
Yeah, I think so. The first lap, you're always a little bit tentative. You still got old tyre kind of grip levels on your mind and things like that. So it's not always straightforward to come out there and just go, right, I'm going to absolutely nail it and, you know, just get every last ounce.
You don't feel the grip, do you, until...
Yeah, exactly. Just takes a little while.
I was expecting that to be a really fast lap by Holmes, actually. It wasn't. It was just kind of a similar one, Adam, to what he was doing before, even though it looked like he put a lot more effort into that lap than some of the other ones.
Something happened to David Payton, I think. He's just dropped down the order, but yeah.
That was... Yeah, he's going very slowly. Can't see why, I'm afraid. I haven't got that many visible cars.
Good battle between Leon Wright and TD, Travis Davis. That battle has continued since they came in for their stops as well. That's over for best of the rest, and looks like Davis got it done, has he?
Yeah, he has, yeah. Davis is through. Wright's fighting back. Oh, he tries to go up the inside into one. There's not a lot of braking area into there, really. Just down a couple of gears, probably, in this car. Throwing it in. Looks like the Mustang's at home, Adam, on this circuit. It looks like it's kind of... You know, the drivers look happy with it. Oh, dear. It's a mistake by Wright. It's very wide. We could see Tom Rathje's just connected to the session. He's a driver who we've seen a lot of in the past, but not so much this season. In fact, not at all this season. So hopefully he's a gentleman who we can have back in the competition next season.
Definitely won't be too long before we get the season back underway. 90-minute race at Daytona. Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. I must admit, I was going to discuss this with you guys, actually, while we had a few minutes, in that I quite enjoyed the calendar this season. We started at Daytona, then we went to Sebring, then Circuit in the Americas, then Twin Ring Motegi, and Laguna Seca, Barber, Auto Club Speedway, California, that's Fontana, Nürburgring, VIR, Snetterton, and Sonoma. It's been there's been some nice changes of pace in there.
Yeah, some good ones. Koto obviously always a bit of a risk with the drivers just because of the staying off tracks and stuff like that. But when it's been on the calendar, it's provided some very entertaining races. And the stuff that creates the unknown for us is the likes of the infield races, the likes of Fontana and Pocono that have been on the calendar in recent years. We suggested the New Hampshire road course, and I wonder if that might find its way onto this schedule perhaps for next season.
I'm hoping if they listen to the broadcast, and I have a sneaking suspicion they will be, that that New Hampshire will be on there. I mean, we enjoyed it in the BSR MX-5 and in the Rallycross, and you know, I'd be tempted, Alex, to put down a little sneaky vote for Silverstone South in there as well.
Yeah, that'd be a nice little layout.
That was a good one. But yeah, I always love the infield, the sort of strange infield oval courses that we have. I just think they're interesting, and yeah, they provide good racing. That there's some interesting visuals of cars going through parts of the track they're not normally supposed to, or like pit lanes and things like that. So yeah, so it's all good and makes for a nice variety. We've got so many layouts on iRacing, Adam. It's really good that in recent months we've been seeing a lot more of them being used.
Yeah, Monza no chicane. That's another one.
Monza no chicane. Not in the Mazda, hopefully not. No.
That's a BSR trademark, I think.
We got this 7 times every season.
But yeah, I think I'm trying to think of a few other ones that we have, other layouts that we haven't been to in some of the. I know we go to Daytona with the oval, but some of the Daytona layouts just on the infield have had a go on in recent seasons. But yeah, quite a few to have a go on, and I don't know if Talladega has an infield. I think it may have done, but I don't think it's on iRacing, as Leon Wright and Travis Davis lap one of the Mazdas. We'll
these two are going to fight for the whole race, I think.
What about Alton? So I'm still suggesting
Alton
racing.
would be good. I don't know if it has enough pit well, in theory it's got enough pit stalls.
Donington. Oh, definitely won't be racing in it. I'm not good enough, but yeah, that'd be one to look at.
Donington is definitely one of my favourites. Montreal's another one. We went to a couple of seasons ago, I think. Here
we didn't go to the Glen this season. I don't know whether that was because of what happened last season when the safety car disaster occurred.
Well, the Glen's always a funny one with, you know, you can have big accidents there, but it is a very good circuit. So the Cup layout would be ideal for the Mustangs. Maybe the Mazdas would be better on the full course. Good battle going on here, actually. It's a slight variation of the battle we saw earlier. It's Zachary Rubin, Geordie Fike, and Joe Boyd. That's for 5th, 6th, and 7th in the MX-5 category. Do we know what that banging noise is?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. It must be some glitch or something somewhere. Some cars bottoming out or something down the straight. But yeah, it is a bit frustrating, isn't it?
Because I thought it was a car that was maybe out of the race and in the pits, but then when you go to the drivers that are in the pits, you can't actually hear anything.
Is it that massive outside curb that they're hit?
No, because it's a constant bang, 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 bang. But then sometimes it disappears.
It's like a bottoming out. I noticed it a lot at like Phillip Island. In the F1 car, they must have iRacing must have tweaked something. It's weird. It's not right. I'm hoping they pick up on it and sort it out soon because it is a bit rubbish.
There you go. A few things for the iRacing team to take note of from our broadcast here. We're putting them to the test here a little bit on Apex Racing TV, giving them 60 car fields and picking out other stuff as this battle in the Mazdas is heating up. This is Geordie Fike, Zachary Rubin, plus they've got TD trying to find his way through past all of them. Up the inside he goes, and That's almost perfect.
It's almost worked.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's difficult through there because it's kind of one line, isn't it, Alex? You don't really want to get offline lapping cars because it's so fast down that part of the course that you could end up making a big mistake.
Yeah, very easy. I think just this is always the problem. I think with this circuit, actually, with the lapping in the multi-class, is and once you got some serious closure speed in different areas, and then you got other areas where you just cannot get by.
Sorry, Leon Wright made a big mistake. Almost ended up in the face of Zachary Rubin, who had to be quite aware there, in order not to crash into him.
Yeah, good awareness by the MX-5 drivers as always. Hartley's been able to get past Brian Holmes while we look at this battle between Fike and Rubin. A lot of bump drafting there, and this has allowed Joe Boyd to have a little look behind going into the chicane.
We'll get through cleanly. Just like that, we're getting into almost the last half an hour of the race. I think this is a good time to grab our second and last commercial break of the evening. I think we're going to go and see Ricmotech again, but yeah, join us back here just in a couple of minutes for the finish of the season in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Welcome back to the Ricmotech Sports Car Series here on Apex Racing TV. It's the final round of the season. Andrew Woodhouse with Adam Bath and Alex Simpson at Road Atlanta, and we're almost heading into the final half an hour, Adam, and that's been quite enjoyable so far, but I think it's one of those races again. It's really going to come and it's really going to shine in the last half an hour.
Still got second round of pit stops to go, of course. Jeff Jacobs, I think, is the only driver that's been in. He's been ahead of everyone in terms of the strategy earlier on. Yeah, he's coming for his second pit stop. Dave Payton just joining him now. So we have still got quite a bit to be decided here. If this was just a normal Ricmotech Sports Car Series race, we'd just be only over 10 minutes into it. So still a lot to be decided here.
Oh yeah. We can't, nobody can be ruled out at this point. Drivers have been quite well behaved as well in the last round of the season. It's not always the case in some series, but this one seems like the guys are willing to race cleanly and fairly as normal, and probably going to have a move here into the chicane. Joe Boyd having a look on Geordie Fike. Is he pushing him even down the straight? Adam, possibly.
Very close. Through goes the Mustang there of Michael Ruddock.
Oh, here we go. This will be interesting. To the braking zone.
So that's Russell trying to get by as well. So the two Ruddocks through.
He's got the course there, I think. Probably end up with a slowdown after that. It was well over all four wheels on the inside. Russell Ruddock.
Aero nom.
Again, just half a second or maybe just 1 second behind Michael Ruddock again, so fairly evenly matched, ridiculously evenly matched even.
Aaron on 17.1 seconds, away he goes. That's him fueled up till the end of the race.
Fuel only?
Definitely. It said in the note that drivers will just be getting the getting the fuel to get to the end.
It's interesting actually that Kevin Ford's mostly kept the gap the same for a number of laps now. So I don't know if Nom's just taking it easy or whether there is actually whether Ford has managed to pick up the pace a little bit. Holmes and Hartley exchanging positions again. It's not surprising. Are they bringing the gap down to Schwenke though? Really, it's not really coming down much, is it? If it's all.
I'll have a look for you. The Schwenke is 5.9 seconds ahead of them now, and it's going up.
So there were that one lap, really, Alex, where they got it down from 6.2 to 5.3, and then ever since then it's been really
That's it.
neck and neck.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that was more to do with traffic than anything, if I'm brutally honest. There's a lot of traffic around.
Travis might have just masterstroke this one. But can he get those other tyres, the other 2 tyres that he's got?
Rodotkin. Sorry.
Can he spin them out? You know, because obviously he's just done. He just did 2 tyres in the last stop, so. Do you know what I mean? The other tyres, the tyres that he didn't change are going to be maybe pretty second hand, I reckon.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think he's going to need to do something on that one. Often we see people do alternate strategies, and then they the other rest of the field would do that on the second stint. So this might just close back up though. So we'll wait and see when they come in.
I was thinking there. 23.4 second stop Schwenke's opening stop was, compared to the 32s and 31s getting done by the likes of Hartley, Holmes and List. So I wonder if Schwenke could be doing that. He's on a stint that is 2 laps longer than Hartley and Holmes is. So could expect to see him in slightly earlier than them. Kevin Ford now leads. He's yet to stop. Thomas is yet to stop as well. The drivers in the Mustangs... Oh, right on cue. Thomas into the pits from second. Doing well. And with Vigas not here, third position in the championship is going to be well and truly his, as long as he gets to the end.
Yeah, which, you know, it is often easier said than done, but you'd hope he can make it. Third place is a great reward for the efforts for any driver. Now, going to put a lap on Jeff Jacobs. That's how quick these guys have been up the front. It has been a quick pace. Although has Jeff been in for his second stop, Alex?
Jacobs, yeah.
Just having a look. There you go. Thank you.
So if he's been in for his second one, that'll make sense why he's getting lapped.
59.83 it was. So yeah.
A long one then.
Long pit lane time. Just under 29 minutes to go then. I just wait for Ford to come in and make his final stop of the day. See if he can make any inroads into Aero Nom to set up an interesting finish between those guys. Of course, both fighting for prize. Kevin Ford hasn't won a race this season. Only 3 Mustang drivers have done so. Aero Nom, Mike Dam and Clint Vigas taking that solitary win. Kevin Ford did get a few victories last season. Won at Sebring, in fact. That was the second race of the season. A season where he could really apply a championship challenge, which just sort of fizzled out towards the end. But that was probably one of the most open Ricmotech Sports Car Series that we saw, that we've seen since we started covering it just over a year ago now.
Yeah, I mean, Sebring's always a test, isn't it? Second race of the season. So if you do well there, you usually do well for the rest of the season. But yeah, you're right. It's not really panned out as you would expect.
Yeah, they've turned it on another level, haven't they, this season?
I mean, the competition's gone up. You know, there's been new drivers added to the series. There's been, new faces at the front of both classes, and Well, Alex, it's made this season one of the better ones that we've covered. Definitely in terms of how fast the field is. We've had closer seasons, obviously, in the past, but it's been very entertaining, really, as a whole.
It has been a very good season. It's nice to have some new people in, pushing it. Nom really pushing Dam, and deserves this championship, really. He's had a really great season. And but actually the whole field has had to step up a little bit as far as the level goes, so it's been great.
I'd still say over a season Mike Dam's probably the man to beat, but Nom's shown that he's really, really good in this car, and if you can beat Mike over a season, then you are exceptional, and that's what he's done. Kevin Ford has been into the pits, come out, and he's lost even more time to Nom, so
12 seconds.
It's not gone well in the pits for Ford today, I have to say. And that's been a bit of a theme, hasn't it, all season, really? And it happened last season as well, when he was racing with Mike Dam most weeks. That was where he was kind of losing the time, losing the seconds to the Canadian.
Yeah, got to nail the simple stuff, Those marginal gains, they all add up, don't they, at the end of the season?
Of course, Nom has got the backing of the Bushfink team. Don't know if they would have had any input in his performances in this series, but yeah, Kevin Ford trying for the Ford Motorsports team, so really representing himself here. Brandon Whitworth yet to come in. Having a look at the rest battles, we've got Mike Monaghan in as well. Challenge Fenke, Hartley and Holmes, and the Masters yet to come in for their stops. But yeah, for now at least it's Nom and Ford. Then it's 14 seconds back. Thomas in third, then Davis in fourth, with Leon Wright in fifth. Brandon Whitworth has recently just come in. He's back out again in eighth. Mike Attila has been the biggest loser in terms of this one, along with Russell Ruddock. Both of them have lost 2 positions in the class today, and with only 11 cars taking part, that's quite a big loss for those two. Two cars in the Mazdas. We got Zachary Rubin and Geordie Fike doing battle in the pit lane now as they trundle down at 70 kilometres an hour.
Well, we've seen some good battles in the pit lane today. It's going to be another one. Getting jacked up at pretty much the same time. Taking left side tyres. Are they going to get rights as well? Well, Geordie Fike doesn't. And, well, Zachary Rubin's still in the box. And there he goes. Could that have been a speeding violation, Alex?
I don't know. Just trying to wait for them to come out of the pit so we can see the difference. So 46. No, that's only 10 seconds. So I wouldn't have thought so. I think that's just a difference in strategy.
Well,
if it was 20 seconds,
does that mean that Geordie Fike might have struggled to put enough fuel in then?
Could be, or could it have been the extra tyres? I don't know there.
No, the same tyres, I think. Well, it didn't look like Rubin got jacked up on the other side, so looked like he got jacked up for right side tyres, and then that was it.
Well, we'll just have to see then on that one, because that is quite a large time. 10 seconds.
That's a visual glitch, mate. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean 10 seconds is quite.
We've had a change in the MX-5s, and Holmes has got ahead of Hartley, and they've both got ahead of Schwenke.
Yeah, 52 seconds.
Has taken 4 tyres now.
Yeah, 52 seconds for Travis. So that's where it's happened. It's all very close though.
Tell you what, this has been a great battle, hasn't it, all season in the Mazdas. All 4 of them have hit the front at some point or other during the season. Schwenke, Hartley, Holmes and
And can I just say that
yeah.
just behind them is the battle that continues to rage on between Davis and Wright. And they're only 0.3 of a second apart after over an hour's racing, nearly an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, quickly approaching. More of an hour to go here. And back onto the back straight they go. You can see Travis Davis and Leon Wright just behind them, fighting over that 4th position. Probably will get to these Mazdas by the time they get to the end of the straight.
Do you think Schrenke's gonna? Do you think he's gonna put the hammer down now, Alex, in terms of trying to get past these guys quickly, or do you think he's gonna bide his time?
I think you want to get to the front quickly. We saw what happened last week with Hartley not really having that advantage on the new tyres.
Here he comes.
He needs to do it now and see if he can start to pull away.
Here he comes on Hartley. Then he's going through on the inside in the final corner, turn 12. Really fast round. It's quite a scary corner, that, actually. Alex, I wonder if you could just take us through a lap with Schrenke.
Yeah, let's do it. As we fly through turn 1, bring up the mini map. I'll tell you what, let me get myself sorted out and I'll do it next lap. If that's all right.
Yeah.
As we're already into the sort of second sector.
Closing
back
stages
to you for now, sorry.
It's been interesting though, Adam, as to whether he can get in, whether he can close into Holmes quickly.
Wait and see, yeah. For the moment at least, he's having to defend from Brian Holmes, which could... from Rob Hartley, which really could open up the gap for Holmes. We've just got over a quarter of an hour to go here in the final race meeting of the season in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series here on Apex Racing TV. And it's your class leaders are Aeronom and currently Jim List, who has been on his last size 18th lap.
Wow. Hartley does not try to get past Schwenke down the straight, even though he could have done. Right then, Alex, here we go. It's over to you for this one.
Let's do it. We head down through the final corner then. So important to get good speed through there, not run out wide, pick up an off track very, very easy. As we head in towards turn 1, gotta get yourself a very wide line in there. A little bit too wide there for Travis, but he's on the power nice and early, and that's the key thing. The car compresses into the track. Blind right-hander here, use the curb on the left and then all over the right as well. Nice line. You know you've got it right if you just hit the shallow part of the curb. Through the S's then, use all of the curbing through here to open the track up as much as possible. Not that last one though, because that will push you far too wide through the high curb there on the left-hander. And a nice line for Travis, really starting to close in on Holmes here. Into the first of the fast right-handers. Lots of camber in that one. And this second one, very, very tricky. Sir Car just has a habit of wanting to understeer through there. It's a lot tighter than what you think it is. It's so important to get a good exit here because we have one of the longest straights that we go to on the iRacing service. But yeah, head down here, go over the crest, start to road towards the downhill section and into what will be the chicane, closing so much with the slipstream here. Heavy braking, downhill braking. Again, use all the curb on the way in, through the apex. Watch out for the bumps on the exit curb. That's always tricky, could upset the car a little bit. No such issues for Travis here. And he's already within 0.2 of a second of what will be our net leader, Brian Holmes.
Easy flat through turn 12. Travis Schwenke sets him up for maybe a move Adam sooner rather than later, but he's got to remember that Rob Hartley's there and he's not going to give it in. Going to give it up. Oh, off goes Holmes. Well, that's a big mistake. He will lose the lead now, and that's exactly what Travis Schwenke needs. And it's exactly what Rob Hartley needs, if we're to be blunt as well. He's up in second place.
Just like that. And that means now that Travis Schwenke is in the effective lead as he goes very wide on the exit of the left-hander there.
I think this will mean that Hartley's going to have to get aggressive now.
Holmes has got to Holmes has got to get aggressive too. Got to get back onto the rear of these guys again. So we'll see what these guys are made of now. I wonder how long it will take. Oh, look again, it's Holmes lighting up the rears on the exit of the crucial right-hander. I wonder what time it will be before they decide it's go time. We are building up to something quite special here. If they stay as close as this, Hartley's looking to the inside now as they go down the back straight.
I think that closing speed's going to be too good to turn down, is it? Into the braking area? And, well, thought so. Maybe not. Well, he knows, though, Alex, that he's got the inferior tyres, Rob Hartley, so his best bet is to just stay behind and hope he gets dragged along until the final lap.
It's super important not to let him try and disappear. He needs to stay right on his tail all the time, you know? Yeah, and like you say, if you can't, then just do that on the final lap. This is kind of completely opposite of what happened last week, isn't it? Between the two drivers, they were. It was Hartley that was on the new tyres.
Yeah, you're right. Just. Well, who won that last week? Again, that was. It was Hartley that took it last week, so very close finish at Sonoma. Oh, he's right with him here, but again, is there going to be a move or not? This is the question.
Credit to Jim List, by the way, only driver in the entire field that's yet to come in for a second visit to the pits. 20 laps into this current stint. We're on lap 45 in the Mazdas anyway. Lap 47 for our leader Aaron on the Mustang.
Well, here we go. Here comes Hartley. He's not going to turn down the run this time. Let's face it, he wants to beat Brian Holmes as well in the final race of the season. Hartley's very late on the brakes into the chicane. Does he make it? Yes, he does. It's really well judged. But again, he can stay with Holmes now. He's back with these guys. I do apologise to the guys in the Mustang class, but not a lot going on there. It's just, apart from Davis versus Wright, which is they're still within half a second of each other. We will update you if there is anything going on. Jim List, in fact, does lead the Mustang category, as Adam was saying.
Hartley now leads the way then.
You can see that his lines, they're wider and more elaborate than Schwenke's. Schwenke's got the new tyres, Alex, so he can be a little bit more precise with the car at this point.
Yeah, and I think if he's in the second position coming onto this final lap, he'll have a much better drive out of this corner that they're coming into now, and that's what's going to play quite a big role, I feel.
Well, not too long to go.
Yeah, onto the back straight these guys go again then. Here come the two Ruddocks to go by them. It's Russell ahead of Michael.
Should get through by the chicane. Yeah, looks like it's going to be all right. Master is a bit quicker through the corners than the Ford. This might be a good chance for Holmes actually to sneak up into second place. Schwenke was slow through the chicane. I think it might be worth having a go into turn one if you're Brian Holmes. Couldn't quite get alongside though. Could not quite do it. And he runs a bit wide again as maybe the tyres are crying enough. Maybe he's given all he's got so far. Maybe he's just hanging on at the minute, Holmes. Who knows? It's interesting how the different drivers approach that S's section as well, Adam, because they there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Alex is saying, you know, open up the curbs as much as possible. Some drivers prefer to take quite wide lines into there, and some prefer the tighter lines. lap 46, lap 50, end of the race for the leader, Aeronom. Down the section. Sorry, Alex.
I was going to say, let's give him a little bit of airtime, as he's not had much as well.
He's barely had anything since the first lap, has he, really?
No. The gyro cam, fortunately for him, points right in his face so we can see his pixel dust helmet that he's got on right now. So.
Oh, I can't see that, actually.
Had some good helmets over the series that we cover here on Apex Racing TV.
In fact, it's interesting. It's funnily enough when you say the gyro cam, Alex, because it really does give you an idea of how bumpy this place is.
Yeah.
Of course, when we go back to the ovals, the gyro cam will be good to see in action there when we're at Daytona.
Oh yeah, definitely. Into the chicane, you see then how much work the suspension's having to do. See how much there's the pitch on the car does, and it pitches from side to side as it leans through the corner in order to find the optimum grip. And Aeronom with a good lap there. And in fact, I want to see through this section from the same camera angle, just to see what it does in terms of the bumps. Oh yeah. Clobbering the curbs. It'll be up and over this hill. It's really going to be the interesting point. Yeah, look at that. Bang, and then bumpy over that exit. Surface change. It really can catch the drivers out. Not for Aeronom this time. He leads by 12.7 seconds. Jim List pits from the lead.
I wondered when that would happen, but yeah, finally after 24 laps, Jim List comes in for his final pit stop.
Should be able to get out in fourth, Adam, looking at where the other drivers are sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fike's not even on the back straight yet, is he?
No, I think he'll be all right.
He's just coming onto it now, so.
Right then. MX5 battle. It's the main battle that we've got here in this race. Travis Davis and Leon Wright are about a quarter of a second apart, and like I say, I don't think they've changed positions for quite some time. Hartley getting sideways over the crest of the hill, really working hard to keep car 3 in the lead which he's just taken back from Jim List. It was a bit off strategy, List. And he is indeed ahead of Geordie Fike by over 10 seconds, so good bit of driving from him in this race to be fourth, even after the excursions he had earlier. Through the DRS zone then for the Formula 1 cars, Adam, fastest part of the course coming up. And Hartley still in front. Schwenke in second. And Holmes in third. Alex, how are you expecting this one to go? I know that's a bit of a loaded question, but what do you think? How do you think it's going to play out? Are they going to wait until the very last lap? I still
think Travis has got the high ground here. He just needs to make sure that Brian doesn't stick his nose in 1 lap or 2 laps to go and all of a sudden finds himself half a second, 0.6 of a second behind Hartley. Otherwise he'll have no chance of getting there. So he needs to stay within that 0.3, make sure Brian doesn't get an opportunity to run if he does cover him off early on.
If they end up getting detached, then that's it.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Exactly.
Did you see how hard Hartley was working on the wheel there as he came through the S's again? It's really one of the best parts of the track in order to, for the drivers, the physical demand of that section. Especially, actually, Alex, if you have something like a direct drive wheel and it's set with a high force feedback, it can be pretty physically demanding through there for the drivers.
Oh yeah, you'll know about it, that's for sure.
I do indeed, yeah. I mean, I've driven GT3s on this track with about an 80% force feedback and very much It is tiring after a long race, 45 minutes or thereabouts. And Adam, you've got to agree that, well, even though Rob Hartley's in the box seats, he's got to be very careful here he doesn't make a mistake.
Yeah, things looking relatively under control for Hartley at the moment, but Schwenke and Holmes able to pounce really at any moment. Only a few tenths of a second between these three as they come through the final corner. Now finally battling for the lead in class. Evie emerged from trip to the hospital in third.
Here we go, Schwenke for the lead into turn one. Oh, and he's overcooked it a little bit. Or has he? No, he hasn't. He's back into the lead then. Schwenke takes the front of the race. Now, are Hartley and Holmes going to fight? That's the key point. Because this is what Alex was saying, and it still applies to Hartley as well as it did to Travis. Is that if Holmes sticks his nose in on Hartley now, about 5 minutes to go, it could have Schwenke an unassailable lead. But you think they're communicating with each other, you'd think it'd be fairly sensible. They're not going to do anything daft. Because let's face it, Robert's still in a really good position, Adam, to really attack on this in the last sort of, 5 minutes that we now found ourselves in.
I think I'm looking at this right now. I think all three of them want to win this race, no question. And I don't think that. I don't think they're going to mess around here as well. So they get an opportunity now within the next.
I don't think there'll be no team orders. That's for sure. Yeah. Hartley goes on the grass, which slows him down a little bit. Schwenke, who even with the new tyres, he doesn't really look like he's got. Well, now he is trying to make a decisive move up the inside, and Holmes is going to try and sneak through on Hartley as well. And he does with no resistance at all, so I wonder if that could be, well, I've had a go, maybe you should try.
Good goal there.
Yeah.
See if he can achieve it. He's got just under 5 minutes to try and get that position. It's now Schwenke that leads, Holmes second, Hartley third in the closing stages of this season of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series here on Apex Racing TV. Aeronom 12 seconds ahead of Ford, so it looks like it's going to be the win and the championship, which we already knew would happen anyway, for Aeronom. Here comes Hartley then. Good run out of the right-hander, and see if he can get that position.
It's been a brilliant season for Aeronom, man from Estonia. Team Bushfink Racing. Bump drafting now going on. So we are seeing the team aspect coming into play, Alex, in the late going, and sensible, it just maybe gains a tenth or so. Although it does mean that Holmes kind of had to scurry around on the brakes as he was going maybe a little faster than he anticipated.
Yeah. Just I think they've got to make sure that they work together to get to him, haven't they? So
yeah. And again, just a tiny
bump. Little bit of bump drafting doesn't hurt. I mean, you have to make sure that you hit the middle of the car.
Not in the corners.
As I say, you have to make sure you have to hit the middle of the car, because we've seen and fallen victim ourselves, haven't we, to a bit of bump drafting where it's not gone right.
I mean, we won the Daytona 500s and things with dodgy bump drafting, and
the 124 hours with dodgy bump drafting.
That was what I was referring to. I thought Alex would keep having flashbacks, so I kind of I think we should do that again at some point. Though Le Mans was good fun.
Yeah.
It's not about that now, though. We're here, final laps of the season. We're going to get one more lap in, Alex, do we think, after this one, or
well,
not?
27 minutes at the minute, so we should be. We should have this one. Where's
a couple of laps then, at least?
Yeah, so this one and possibly another. Yeah, for sure.
What do you reckon, Adam? I asked Alex the question earlier on about how you think it's going to play out. Who's in the best position?
Schwenke may just have it at the moment. I think he's going to be able to hold on. I know it was a bit fortuitous how he was able to get by Brian Holmes, but I think Schwenke has got enough in it.
It's gone a bit wide there, though. Do you think when the push comes to shove, those newer tyres are going to be important for Travis? As now here comes. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
here we go. It's going to be. Oh, I thought Hartley was going to go for it. 3 wide, they're side by side contact.
Oh,
Schwenke nearly loses it. They're waiting for each other. What's Hartley doing? He could have gone.
Yeah,
he could have gone for the positions.
I think he was
stuck.
Final
race of the season.
I think he was just stuck. I don't think he could go anywhere. That was the trouble.
I think he could have done. I think he could have gone around the outside. Don't get me wrong. Sportsmanship aplenty.
Oh, at a moment there, he went round the outside, saw what was going on in front of him.
Oh, you know what? You are right. Probably. Yeah. Possibly. I think he could have got back on the gas a bit earlier, though. And really shot through if he wanted to. But I think knowing Rob, from how we've spoken to him over the past so many months, I think he'll want a fair fight on the last lap and he'll want everybody to be equal and going for it. So this will mean that's what we're going to get. Where's Aeronom? He's coming onto the back straight as well.
When he gets to the line, he'll be starting the final lap.
Yeah, there's no danger of Nom getting past these guys before the end. We're 3 wide. We are 3 wide on the penultimate lap of the season. And Hartley's on the inside. Very late on the brakes goes Hartley. Schwenke's kind of in the middle. Holmes with the big long cutback. He's trying to set them all up, Brian Holmes. He's on the inside. Is there enough room? Just about. He gets the right side wheels on the grass. Through turn 12. Flat out. 2 wide through there. There's no lack of commitment from these boys.
Hartley from third to first in the space of a lap. Schwenke down to second now. Brian Holmes is the one that's in third place. 20 seconds to go. There will be another lap.
Alex, final lap of the season, and it's poised like this, and there's no title on the line here. It's already been taken.
This is what no, exactly. But just for pride, isn't it?
How fun is this?
This is great.
And this will be the penultimate lap for these guys. I don't think there's a chance of getting to Aeronom getting to these 3 Mazdas.
I'll tell you what, it is brave to just hold behind. And the thing is now, Schwenke does have a run. It's not a great run. Holmes is going to have a great run. He's going to have a double slipstream. Aeronom is on this straight. He's not going to quite get there, I don't think.
No.
It's going to be the final lap for him. It's going to be the final lap of the season. But for these guys, it's the penultimate lap into the chicane. Schwenke on the outside. He throws it in. Takes the lead. Can he defend? He might have to defend this, and he does. I was going to say somebody's going to have to defend the inside at some point, and it was Travis Schwenke. Now over the line to start the final lap, but Aeronom is going to win the title in the Ford Mustangs, and they're 3 wide into the first corner. Hartley decides. Hartley decides he's not going to risk that one, even on the final lap of the season. Holmes down to third now. Schwenke leading, Hartley second, Holmes in third.
I will give the Mustangs a little bit of love because here's Travis Davis on Stephen Thomas on the final lap. They're side by side in the chicane as well.
Oh, Davis, what a race by him. He's able to get that spot on the podium, but it looks like it's going to be Thomas that's may just hold on.
I'm not sure.
Are we sure that that's for position?
It is.
Yes.
Yes.
It's Thomas by just under a tenth.
Well, how did Davis must have nailed the strategy in the final few laps, because he's been with Leon Wright all race, and then suddenly he's pestering Stephen Thomas. It's a great finish for TD. He couldn't quite get it. Was very close.
Russell Ruddock ahead of Michael, I think.
Here we go. Hartley. Adam, he's making his move down the back straight. Schwenke's a bit defenceless here. Holmes has got the best run of all. Is he going to go for the inside? The middle, should I say? Oh, it's very close. Hartley's brilliant from Rob Hartley. He nearly loses the rear. He's going to take it, Rob Hartley. Coming through the final corner. The final race of the season in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. And the championship goes to Rob Hartley.
Game of chess that was, wasn't it, in the final few laps. Hartley got this strategy perfect, where he needed to be. Get that run.
Unbelievable.
What a great race. Great championship.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back. We're going to be on the Ricmotech team speak, so we're going to be conducting the interviews, and we'll bring you the finishing results in just a couple of minutes' time. Welcome back to Apex Racing TV and the post-race show here at the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. We'll conduct some interviews in just a couple of minutes' time, but first of all, Adam's going to take us through the finishing order for the final round at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, a great race to finish it off. Great 90-minute race. Aero Nomno, top of the pile, pole position, fastest lap and race win, I believe. Kevin Ford finishing in second. Third for Stephen Thomas. The top three finished exactly where they started, just because Travis Davis gives Stephen Thomas a run for his money there on the final lap of the race. Leon Wright finishing in fifth, then Russell Ruddock in sixth, then Mike Ruddock in seventh, then eighth for Branton Whitworth, Matt Catila ninth, 10th Mike Monaghan, 11th Scott Brooks, and then it's into the Mazdas. It is Rob Hartley that wins that one. Great duel with Brian Holmes and Travis Schwenke throughout the season. Jim List finishing in fourth in class.
You don't forget John Allen as well.
Yeah, don't forget John Allen. He's been with them throughout the entire season too. It's a shame he wasn't here today. Then in fifth, Geordie Fike. Sixth, Dave Payton. Seventh, Joe Boyd. Zachary Rubin finishing in eighth. Ninth, Jeff Jacobs. Then running at the top 10 in the Mazdas, it is Chris Torman. Michael Key 11th. 12th, Edgar Sancinelli. And then cars that had issues during the race, including Sancinelli, had Robert Brist and Patrick Prevenis. Both of those two cars, all three of those cars actually, out of the race within a space of a few laps. And Pasquale Iannucci took part in practice but didn't take the start. So that is how the field finished for the final race of the season here in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series.
Yeah, and on excuse me. On that note, got our two champions with us. We probably won't be. We don't have a great deal of time left, but definitely going to speak to these two at least. Aero Nom joins us now. He's been waiting patiently over the commercial break. Aero, well done again for today. A real dominating performance. Is that probably your best race of the season, I would say?
Yeah, thanks.
maybe not on the pace because it's a really hard track on the off tracks, and I wanted to finish the race clean. So in the start, I was taking very carefully. But luckily, I was able to break the draft and just hold it.
How would you sum up this season? First one in this series in the Ford Mustang, at least, and well, was it tougher than you expected when you came in here, or was it easier? What do you think it? How did you see it?
Yeah, maybe it was a little bit tougher with Mike, but I realized very early on that the incidents will be the key. So I think I got more points like 2 races when Mike won. So that was the key.
The bonus points. Yeah, that I mean, a few of those. An example was Snetterton. He won the race, but you ended up with more points. Also in
Daytona.
Well, yeah. So yeah, Daytona. Yeah, exactly. First race of the season, 1 point more than he did. So yeah, very good. And the consistency all the season was there. The clean races were there, and it just allowed you to ease away with the championship. Was it a bit disappointing that Mike wasn't here today, just to have a fight with on the last race?
Yeah, definitely, but maybe he had other things to do, so he had no chance for the championship either. So
that's true.
It's okay.
Fair enough, isn't it? You'll be happy with that because at least you can come out today and just race and enjoy yourself. Before we leave you for the season, give a quick shout out to whoever you like and the team or your friends and family, whoever. If there's anybody watching still at 5 a.m, I don't know.
I know nobody watching, but yeah, thanks for you guys and all the admins and the sponsors.
Perfect. I think that's about the most clear cut thanks that we've ever given on this channel. So thanks, mate. For that. But yeah, hey, look, thank you very much for providing a lot of entertainment during the season. Are you going to be back for the next one?
I'm not sure because the fishing season starts, so it will be hard for me. It's so late. But I'm not decided yet.
All right. Well, hopefully we see you back. And in the meantime, congratulations and enjoy the off season.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Here and on there, great champion of the Ford Mustang, and Rob Hartley joins us here as well, who took the MX-5 category, and he's with Adam.
Rob, well done on the title, and with a race like that to end the season, you couldn't have took it in much better fashion.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. It was a battle like that all season.
Yeah, I think Alex described it as a well-played game of chess, that one, with all the fuel saving and the slipstreaming as well. The overtake for the lead had to be perfectly timed there.
Yeah, it was. I just kind of took them when I could get them. We was 3 wide. We was bumping each other. Racing with them 2 guys all season's just been great.
Season as a whole, it's gone really well for you. Could you pick out a race that has been a highlight for you this season?
I guess it'd have to be Road Atlanta. It's kind of one of my favorite tracks. I always run good here. It's always a good battle. It always comes down to the last lap, it seems.
90-minute races as well, with the extra element of the two pit stops during the race. Does that make it even more exciting for you as a driver?
Yeah. You can definitely tell who can get the pit stops right. I mean, Jim was with us until that first pit stop, and we seen he kind of had a slow stop, so we put the pedal to the metal and tried to break the draft from Jim, and that worked to our advantage. And then come out the last pit, me, Travis, and Brian was right there together.
Yeah, were you not too worried when Brian had the during the first round of pit stops, when Brian was slightly quicker in the pit stops and he had about a 6-second lead over you? Were you not too worried because you'd be able to get back to him towards the end?
Yeah, Travis. Yeah, yep. Travis.
He
short fueled a little bit when he took his tires, so I knew he'd have to put a little more fuel in that last stop. And I was watching him, and when he dove on the pit road, that's kind of when I was like, yep, I need to dive on with him.
Well, next season then, do you plan to run again to defend your title?
Yep, I'll be back next season, and I'm sure most of these guys will be back. It's always fun running with them.
Right, well, yeah, before we let you go, Rob, do you want to send a quick shout out to anybody?
I'd like to say thanks to y'all for putting on a good broadcast, and to all the sponsors and admins that make this league happen.
Very well, well done on the title. As always, the Mazda MX-5s have been thrilling to watch all season, and yeah, we can't wait to see you back on the grid next season.
Thanks, guys.
Rob Hartley there, champion of the MX-5s. I believe Alex has just grabbed Stephen Thomas, just for, we haven't got a lot of time, but Steve's been waiting patiently, so Alex, take it away.
Yep, Steve, welcome to the booth, mate.
Thanks, guys.
How was the race today, and how was the season overall?
Season was great. The race seemed to go pretty well, about as expected. So yeah, I mean, real good, clean racing. The top three, we kind of got spread out there in traffic for a little while, but all in all, I think it was a pretty good, solid race.
And would we be right in saying that that's you wrapped up in third place overall?
I think so. We'll find out
is
here in a few minutes, but I think so.
Yeah. Well, congrats. No, not too shabby to finish in the top three. There's some tough competition this season, and yeah, did a great job.
Yeah, it's all about just taking your chances where you could get them. This is a tough group to run with and stay on top, so I'm pretty happy with the results.
No, that's exactly what Rob said. He's just literally taking the chances when you can get them. So, yeah, I mean, pretty evenly matched. Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, how do you find this circuit though as well? Because I think it's a bit of a what we would call a Marmite track here. So you either love it or hate it. What's your opinion of it?
Well, I'm definitely in the love it group. I really enjoyed Atlanta. So no, it's really good. It was a little warmer than I think I'd expected, so it was a little bit difficult to maintain the tires, but. You know, to be expected. It's there's a couple turns in there that just eat tires, so just trying to manage it.
And will we be seeing you next season?
Absolutely. Yep, I'll be here next season.
Awesome. Well, before we let you go, then, and we hit the sack because it's past my bedtime. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, and mine.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Frank at Ricmotech, we appreciate his support, and then TD with TD's Tree Service, you know, his support for the past many seasons. So appreciate those guys, and then of course you guys at the broadcast. Appreciate what you do for our league and putting on such a great product.
Well, TD pushed you all the way, 1/10 of a second behind at the end. So good sponsor, very good driver on the track as well. And Stephen, thank you for coming into the commentary box and speaking to us, and yeah, we'll see you next season, mate.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Stephen Thomas there, and yeah, I think just a couple of the final words. We've really enjoyed covering the Ricmotech Sports Car Series again this season. We hope to do so again for the following season, so for season 11. So from all of us here at Apex Racing TV, from myself, Andrew Woodhouse, from Anna Bapp and Alex Simpson, it's good night from Road Atlanta, Aaron Om and Rob Hartley are the Ricmotech Sports Car Champions.
Focus, determination, passion, stamina, and the will to win. The end result, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment, and in part by TD's Tree Service. Live Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.